Welcome to another round of Depleto Depleto action. This is a Motherlode 26. It was a 27 before. Yeah, we'll tank the seat, so we got fucked pretty hard. No, I attempted this key as a Unholy DK. It's a normal AoE burst setup. It's again bolstering grievous. Pretty much I'm uploading all videos from this week because why not? So, as you can see, we shroud skipped to the pillar. Usually we shroud skip fully to the big pool to get lust out. But, but since the timer doesn't really matter, we opt into killing the obelisk on the 26th, and we don't really have to min-max perfectly. This run was in itself really scuffed, because usually you let all the mech jockeys go in and play peacekeepers for more count. But as you can see, soon we scuffed more than we wanted to. Like, even usually this doesn't happen. Was one of the first time where really, you know, everything was like really scuffed, like giga scuffed. Like the run before, tank DC'd on the first big pull, and then this key, the mech jockeys didn't go into the robots and all this stuff. But you know, sometimes shit happens, and you know, the healer wasn't in the key again at the start because he had the wrong gear equipped, and we soloed this bad boy. So the next pull is pretty much some peacekeepers, mech jockey. Usually it's one mech jockey and one thug. Since it's bolstering, and if you kill a peacekeeper early, you get 2 stacks, because there's a mob in it that dies and the peacekeeper in itself. The mech jockeys go in usually, and you know, as you can see, activate mech and all the stuff, so you get more comfort. It got interrupted for some reason. Usually the clap from the warrior doesn't scuff it. Could have been because it was late in the fight. So the assassin gets CC'd by the shaman or the rogue, and I do only the thug kick. So the thug is solo kickable. If you don't kick it, you can dispel the enrage. It's the most deadly mob with the mech jockey here. So mech jockey does a random hit to anyone, like it's a mixed damage hit. It just does like 90% of your health for no reason, like just RNG. So we try to kill as fast as possible the mech jockey and the both mech jockeys. Usually, as I said, one is okay with one tug. You can get killed by this, but you know, the rogue fucked up a bit the CC. Sorry. And yeah, we try to kill the thug as fast as possible, because right now the thug hits like a 30 mob. I'm gonna die soon, pretty much, if I'm correct. Oh, yeah, it was in the next pull, but it's okay. So I have a rigor. You can see left the CD, by the way, from the mob ability, so you can desync them. For example, if there are 2 mech jockeys and they have both the shot available, you can stun one, get the shot from the other, and have a like 3-second time window where the other shot is coming, so someone doesn't get two shots at the same time and dies. Yeah, so you can a bit control it. So usually, as a DK, I don't have much CC for the assassins to control them fully in the really long pull. As I said, I'm only doing the thug pull and backing up assassin grips or a ghoul stun if needed. Yeah, Motherlode is pretty advanced in my opinion, especially in bolstering, how you play it. We scuffed extremely much pull at the early start. We're gonna suffer later and have to kill some shit packs, which are really not time efficient. I would not recommend this route in the sense of how you should play it, because it was not even good. Yeah, like it was really scuffed, and you should not play like this. So we CC'd the 3 big mobs outside with hard CC or outrange it in the bolstering, so we can, you know, kill all the smallies and do a big pull afterward. As I said, the mech jockeys are extremely deadly, and yeah, the thug charge and the assassins and all the stuff. Like, if something goes through, people are going to die for sure in a higher key setting. Like, the mobs are all one-shotty. Like, they're extremely dangerous, and everyone should assign to some certain mob type, depending on the pull, to control it, yeah? So nobody gets really killed. Unholy DK is in Motherlode beast, usually. The biggest problem is the affix this week at least. Like bolstering, it's like the worst week for Unholy in Motherlode. Look, you can't pump, you have to stop AoE DPS, or you can't like just AoE, you have to focus target, and as an Unholy DK you have really bad priority damage outside of your full AoE, in comparison to other classes at least. So again, my cross marker is my thug kick, as usual. And don't forget, the Peacekeeper gives 2 stacks on kill or on death. So you should kill the Peacekeeper at the latest part, and the thugs and the jockeys are highest priority overall, always. Especially if there are 2 or more, yeah? 2 are deadly and 3 are pretty much dead if you don't control them correctly from the ability cooldown they have. You see on the nameplate left, there's the thug cast right now, and it goes on cooldown and all this stuff. Like, you can see when the mob has his cooldown ready and does he do the ability then eventually, yeah? So you can control. You see the thug charge is 4 seconds away. I die here because the rogue didn't see the AoE before. Usually you should stun the assassin in the channel, like before the channel is going through. If you don't do it instantly, the channel goes and 1 tick comes, or 2 ticks or whatever, and people are going to die for thug charge or make jockey when the mid is coming through, yeah? So it's important that CC is really, you know, on point. The rogue was pretty much falling asleep, so, you know, he got this for him. Because, you know, he woke up early and, you know, work and all this stuff. Imagine working. Just kidding. But, you know. So he didn't even want to play the key but I was like, come bro, we can reroll and get a better one tomorrow. Eventually we get a big weekly out, or can push if it's a good one. So the next pull, one Labora gets CC because it's a way too small HP pull, and we don't want to bolster an AoE, especially with me as an Unholy DK. I don't want to insta-gip this bad boy. You can see I used my Dark Transformation, my pet died instantly for some reason. Never happened to me in this pull, but you know, there's a first for everyone, and my AoE DPS is going to suffer really high, really hard. It's really bad, like, it was a fucking shit pull for me, yeah? Like, I was prepared holding CDs for this moment and my pet instantly died. Should have shield walled my pet with the keybind, but you know, I was 1 second too late and my pet died. Usually your pet doesn't die randomly there, but you know, happens. I don't know really if my pet was full HP, I got healed and just got 1 shot from a random charge, because if you didn't know, you goose can get charged by thugs, so Unholy is really available for soaking free damage with your pet, yeah? It's really good, especially hunters, schools, Margo schools, everything, like, can get charged on, yeah? It's really nice. So, Motherlode is pretty much, the tank has to handle the Peacekeepers, you have to handle the thugs and the assassins, focus the jockeys, and then it's pretty much, the tank has to kite in the correct pattern for the Peacekeeper, yeah, so he doesn't get clawed, yeah. The claw cast does some mixed magic damage on one shot the tank, but our tank can spell reflect some of them and, you know, gets a big chunk damage into the mob. It's really good. Like, warrior tank is really insane, especially for reflected HGs, yeah. So the pulls are repeating themselves over and over and over till we get like 60% trash count. It's like, takes ages. Here you can see I grip the mech jockey, so usually this robot is empty, yeah, you can't use it for count. And how I gripped the mech jockey was like, I let aggro the warrior with a throw, the mob, and I gripped them to the robot, so the moment you attack them, they pretty much after 1 second or so, or instantly take the nearest robot and go into it. So the reason for the grip was, so the jockey goes into the empty robot suit, and we get extra %, yeah? It's a really high play. You should do this every time. You can knock it, typhoon it, Inji belt it, or grip it, yeah? But I would recommend to let the tank throw any kind of range aggro onto this mob. So if you grip him, he doesn't melee and one-shot you instantly, yeah? Because he can melee and instant RNG shot you in this second, yeah? If the aggro is a bit scuffy. So you will die otherwise. It's really bad since you can't just run back, because we skip with Shroud and all this stuff. So the little things are really important in some kind of scenarios. The AoE DPS overall was pretty okay from my standpoint in this in this key. As I said, my pet died multiple times in bigger pulls, which is usually not the case. But you know, I got my army, by the way, back up on CD. Pretty much right now what I'm doing is I'm asking my team, should we do the bosses last so I can hold army and eventually get some good damage onto him, and we did it. But I didn't have really good procs, and the AoE the single target burst on the first boss was pretty medical in my opinion, but you know, sometimes you get good procs, sometimes you don't, yeah? As you can see, my weak arrows in the middle are pretty much tracking all my procs, my runic corruption, my Festa might, and all the important things you have to really look out for if you want to min-max your resources and your downtime and your damage and your priorities. It's like really advanced stuff. The little things are mattering extremely much the higher you go. Yeah, you have to really take the edge everywhere you can. It takes quite some time to adapt and to play around it a bit. But you know, it's not like really it procs and you deal more damage. Now there are some little things you can do depending on the situation, which are pretty important, yeah? So the new Regar you can see left from the nameplates is a bit scuffed, where you can see the mob cast CD. It was freshly implemented from me before the run. I couldn't set it up. I wanted to have it on the right and grow to the right, but for some reason I wasn't capable to do it in the time, and the rope really was falling asleep. So you know, I'm going to try improve my UI a little bit for the next run. So the rock did some silly, some cheesy stuff to get the to get the second peacekeeper. Can't really say what he's doing. I know what he's doing, but right now I can't really give you the details how he did it to not aggro the pack while the peacekeeper ran through and the stuff. There's some certain, if you pull him and vanish instantly, he goes into the robot and attacks the group. And while the peacekeeper is pretty much running through the group, he doesn't aggro the mobs if you don't attack the peacekeeper, you just let him come to you. Pretty much this is it, yeah? So it's not really hard. What you have to keep really a bit track of is like CC some bad mobs there, so you don't randomly, yeah, aggro them or some stuff, yeah? Or they kill you while you come out of staff pulling the pistol boy. The mage jockey, the peacekeeper, I mean. So pretty much I'm holding my CD since 10 years, and for multiple dead deaths and pet deaths and all the stuff, really bad, but you know, sometimes it's a good run, sometimes this was a pretty clean run, besides my death at the early start where I couldn't do shit against it, but yeah. Sadly I used my RAM pretty early. I didn't have the Titan Shard proc, which was really fierce Batman. If I had the Titan Shard proc in this moment right now, my DPS would skyrocket like crazy, yeah? And sadly the third ball didn't came instantly in my blood window in the first 5 seconds, so my single target burst suffered quite much. Oh, Shaman is totally destroying this boy. He's like storm striking like hell, like mad, yeah, like it's insane. Like he can just press storm strike and do 350k in last year, like no problem, with one button. It's really nice. So Shaman totally destroys this bad boy here. And I'm like, bruh, my DPS sucks dick. I'm rerolling, Kappa. Sadly I get the Titan Shard proc now, like when I don't have anything available anymore. What you can, by the way, do in the static pusher, so there's a site that's just called Just Healers. You can pretty much slide some switch and see how much damage does it do baseline, like the mob ability. This ability does like 580k or so on the 26, the AoE. So you can death strike it off, you don't have to use personals. What I'm doing is I can AMS 1, or what I'm mostly doing is death advancing 1, the first one or whatever, or the second one, depending on, you know, how I wanna set up my CDs into the bonus damage. Then I death strike instantly after the explosion. I don't get knocked back, so I can death strike with the ability. The second one is AMS, then it death advance again, or icebound, and then again death advance, or AMS, so you get the idea, yeah? So you can survive them in even hierarchies if you want to, yeah? As Unholy. And if you really want to make sure you don't die, like it's overkilling, you can put in some avoidance corruption, or you know, get some verse or whatever, yeah? Anything that makes you tanky. So the next pull is again a shroud. So how all of this these mobs here work, yeah? The Earth Shapers are solo kickable most of the time, not always. So the Mine Rat and many mobs there. So random people are dying, for example in your Paki, and you're like, why are you dying in this pack? So there are some certain mobs there, they attack the nearest proximity target. So if the tank is in the mobs and you are behind the tank gets always targeted by the random abilities. So you can survive and not die and get one shot randomly. I ramped up on every mob and like, can we pull the red in? Otherwise it gets bolstered like crazy because it wasn't zapped and it was blinded only, and blind is in combat, yeah? And zap is out of combat CC, so you know. So I ramped, destroyed the pack, we killed everything pretty fucking clean and evenly. Was pretty amazed by this put because it's one of the harder ones here, because of the certain mob health difference, but you know, was a good pack for us. And so usually you should kill the extractor latest, yeah? And we did it pretty much. Yeah. Then there's a driller coming out. So the driller does random damage and I'm getting clapped hard by him, yeah? You're gonna see this pretty soon, see? I get one, this is random damage every time it's a random earth shock. You can't do shit against it, it's physical. So usually you chain this driller into the pack on the hill there. And on the 4-pack, but our tank was like, nah, the count is fine, the route is good. And he forgot we scuffed, like, at the start, like, half of the count, yeah? But, you know, everyone has his PP moments, yeah? So the usual 3 to 4 kicks here. I try to ramp on every mob, and I'm like, stay after the explosion, I'm gonna destroy. And I was thinking then, should I pop my CDs? Usually I could have blasted my CDs into this, but I didn't because I was greedy, and it was, and I definitely killed wrong. It was a really, really bad setup. I go back into the Death and Decay to cleave. If you didn't knew already, the mobs don't have to stay in the Death and Decay, only you do. And if you hit the mob for some certain, from some certain range, your attack cleaves 8 targets around the mob, yeah, like the explosions and all the stuff. So you only have to stay in Death and Decay, not the mobs. The mobs in Death and Decay is a no-brainer, yeah. I can pretty much show you. If you want a picture of how Death and Decay works, I made it on Paint back in the days for some people who wanted some advice from me on how to play Unholy. Yeah. So we kite this boy to the boss and let the healer go out. So there's a little trick. If you do some certain aggro mechanic, if you go out and the other people outrange this boss, the one guy going out, and for example the tank goes in the middle there out where the boss is spawning or staying, and he thunderclaps, he gets aggro from all 4. What we are doing is we let the healer get aggro with the heal, so, or whatever he's doing, so they are all chasing the healer and everyone can safely DPS. You're gonna see this, the healer is going out and heals and or does whatever, and then gets chased by all 4 of them, as you can see. He vortexes it, so for some reason the one earth shape, the 2 earth adds are not like pulled back. Was bad RNG, I'm ramping on all of them at the same time. Still, since they were not equally stacked or perfectly stacked, my damage suffered really hard in this burst, I would say. But, you know, it was still okay-ish. Like, it wasn't the best, but not the worst, but, you know, it was okay. So we blast them all at the same time. So if you, by the way, didn't use, so a powered ad isn't stunnable. You can blind it, you can grip it, but the grip doesn't interrupt the AoE. You can blind it or gouge it, like disrupt it, yeah? To interrupt the buffed up mob. Or fear them even, if I'm correct, yeah? What you can do too is... Yeah, that was pretty much it, yeah. So how this boss works, he does occasional frontal and buffs one ad, then you have to kite the ad around the boss to get cleaved and give you other DPS, extra DPS. As you can see, I'm still doing great DPS. Our rogue sadly gets permanently attacked. I try to slow them, to destack on them and to get the rogue some uptime. get some hits in. Sadly, he's really not able to. It's a really bad, melee unfriendly boss if you have shit RNG. Can happen. Yeah, you know, but sometimes it goes like this, and someone has to, you know, bite into the nails, yeah. So I'm swapping a bit for the Festamite to, you know, to destack it, trying to kill the big one, because the resonant pulse is coming up, the AoE thingy, and as you can see the boy is buffed, and I gripped him, and we just one-shotted him before the cars came through. I'm blasting my CDs at the end in there, because I know we're gonna do a small pull afterwards, a medical pull, and then an obelisk into boss, yeah? Or into trash, into boss. So I'm pretty much looking at my Army of the Damned right now. I'm like, so where do we lost, boys? And where can I army? And we were like discussing pretty much, yeah, we're doing trash before the next boss. So there's trash behind the boss. We do this before the boss because we want to get lust out, kill as much trash as possible in this case, and then go into the boss, because the warrior can spell reflect every dot or every second dot, and we can immune AMS, vanish it or whatever, yeah? So if the warrior gets an ineffable truth proc in the perfect window, we can reflect and reflect and reflect and reflect, and the boss is killing himself pretty much. So we see that the two big mobs, because the red's bolster, we try to kite them a little bit back. We go a 3 pull afterwards again, 3 elite mobs. Where we are pulling the mobs is they are 2 kickable, and the mastermind will just get reflect gift, so it's pretty easy. The kicks are not on point in this pull. We didn't really, you know, communicate correctly. Usually it's like 2 kick and reflect, pretty much. I'm blowing my CDs into the mobs, I notice, because I know we're gonna do the ooze afterwards and then the trash. I'm using my CDs really delayed, because why not? It was really like, again, some, you know, lazy as shit. But you know, sometimes we do this, or I do this, especially like in weeks like this where everything you do is really not pushable, because it's that week. Most of the time, like bolstering grievous isn't fun. Like you have to just artificially slowing you down like crazy in high key levels, yeah? Bolstering is bad. It's like balanced for low keys, but it's shit for low keys anyway, because you bolster everything instantly. And then high keys, it just slows you down and hinders you doing bigger pulls and let you handle big pulls. And you have to like you don't benefit from chain pulling because you can't do it, yeah? Like especially me, when I'm blasting and have high Festamite stacks and we want to chain pull, we can't because of bolstering. Like there are so many things wrong with bolstering, and you know, like it's a really shit affix. Changed my fucking mind, yeah, like really. So we pretty much snapped, by the way, the eyes behind the house, as you guys knew if you know already from the Toldago video. If you line of sight the eyes, they snap to you, onto your position, so you can stack, they all snap at the same position. The raw warrior, by the way, if you... The mind flare comes like this, so the nearest target gets mind flayed, so the warrior can pretty much stay in as nearest target for the eyes, and can spell reflect all at the same time. If they cast all at the same time, you can stun them, you can interrupt them, kick them, whatever, yeah, like the usual stuff. So pretty much you're gonna see, we're gonna pull the Uzi boy to the backside of the boss, because we just DPS him down while running. I cancel my claw, so I don't pop Festamite randomly and have open Festamite window for the next. Checking where my ghoul is with some macros. He's there, I'm like, okay, let's go, big pull into lust. So the specialist is solo kickable most of the time. So if you kick him early, there's a pretty high chance you get the kick back up. Yeah, in his cast. Sometimes it doesn't, so you can grip or kick, ghoul stun, and then kick afterwards when he's recasting. Sometimes, as you see, the cast did go through, because sometimes it goes like this, yeah. What what you can do, by the way, on the Technican, he's buffing and healing. If you have a mage in your group, the mage can spell steal the Technican buff, and like the overcharge you can see got kicked, yeah? You can spell steal it and get Giga Dam out of it, like extra haste or something, yeah? So the War Machine is pretty much in our route as a high-end count boy. So the War Machine is spawning bombs. And the bombs are count if you kill them. If you don't run into them, you have to kill them, yeah? So we use the War Machines with some like every War Machine spawns 4 bombs. And we plan, or a tank who does the route, plants the 4 bombs into the route for percentage, yeah? So we don't have to play as much trash as we do as we do in this key, for example, because everything was scuffed already, and we are like 8% undercount because we missed like 2 or 3 peacekeepers at the start, yeah? Because of the mech jockey scuff. So we have to play 2 more packs, I would say, and more bombs than usual, which is like, I don't know, 3 or 4 minute time loss easily, yeah? It's really, feels bad, man. So pretty much kill this. By the way, there's some Sky Scorcher or whatever, he's like pointing this red shot, yeah? What your warrior tank can do, he can intervene or intercept whatever it's called. He can intercept you and doesn't have to stay in the red line to soak the shot. The damage just goes into him, and you know, he just takes the damage. So you, in high key, this one shot. So the tank has to stay in this red shot, or he has to intercept you to soak the shot. It's really easy for warrior in the end boss, especially if some people get like hit or marked by this shot. He can intercept one and stay into the other, or to play the mechanic or whatever. So how this, by the way, is working here, the first one is reflect, the second one is vanish, and the third one is reflect again. There's some kind of rotation where you can spell reflect 2 times in a row, like pretty much you can see here, because she's like doing her catalyst everywhere, the fucking thingy on the floor, yeah, like the where you don't should step into. Because it takes so long, the warrior gets reflect back up, yeah, some of the time. I don't use my AMS for the burn soak. I'm doing it right now because our tank mismanaged something, and this was pretty much shit RNG on my side that I had to AMS, but pretty much he failed, and the situation was so good that I could AMS the boss on top of running through the goose or ooze or whatever. This is like the shit on the ground, yeah. So the warrior spell reflecting him, this is why he's doing great DPS, and my DPS doesn't really matter in this fight, I must say, because the warrior makes this fight extremely fast, so you don't really suffer from lower single target DPS, especially as Unholy if you go full AoE, as always, yeah? Like, I'm doing good single target DPS, as you can see, but it's not the, like, it's not Beastmaster Hunter or Frost DK or Fire Mage level of single target, yeah? Like, I'm full AoE. Like, my single target is decent, but it should not be the best, otherwise there's something like really clearly wrong in the game, yeah? Because my strange are not single target. Especially since I didn't opt into it, yeah? But it still feels bad, man, that my single target suffers quite hard because I have to opt heavily into AoE, yeah? Like, there should be some better single target options for DK where you don't get fucked in AoE totally, yeah? Because the AoE scaling is so good that you know, single target suffers quite hard from this, because it's so imbalanced in the switches, in my opinion. But you know, it's again like we are doing multiple pulls we should not do, by the way. Like these pulls you are seeing, like this pull at least you're seeing right now is you usually don't do this pull in the key, yeah? Getting CDs back up. I'm gonna blow my CDs, by the way, into the pack. So you see I get the red shot, and I call to my tank, can you intercept me? I got the shot, and you see in the buff bar he intercept me, soak the shot, and nothing happened. Yeah, really good. Otherwise I would be dead if I don't pull the defensive. What you can do too is like, you go into this red line as a tank, or you intercept or whatever. But warrior has pretty much the best toolkit by a mile for this dungeon as a tank. It's insane. The warrior spell reflect here is absolutely nuts, yeah? And the intercept, like, it makes everything so easy, it's insane. It's really, really nice to have a warrior and Motherlode. So, Rogue proc cheat death because he ran into a bomb. Should not happen, but that happened, so whatever. Gonna pull 2 more mobs if I'm correct, and they go into the pillar. So you can see we trigger the mines to get some extra count. Every mine is 1 count. This is like 0.1, 0.2% count, depending on the week. Like teaming, it's a bit less, but you know. So we pull the last 2 mobs till the obelisk and the end boss. DPS still giga slacking because I don't have anything available. I'm like, I'm gonna use it in the next obelisk anyway, like everything I have. What I did overall was my rotation was not really on point, as usual. It's a lower key, I don't really, you know, go totally ham and giga min-max. Having autoclaw, by the way, off again because I don't want to break randomly a wound on the mob which is dying. So I have my faster might for the next mini boss fully available. Yeah, it's really important to cancel your claw right now because faster might exist and Shadowrun's not going to be the case right now. So I'm wrapping on every mob as good as I can with Unholy Frenzy, using my DT delayed because it didn't came perfectly up how I wanted to be. And then I'm just destroying the 4 mobs as hard as I can, yeah? Now we kite, you can by the way snap this boy on the red light in the zone, like you can jump on it as a tank and he snaps to you. So snapping is ports to you because of game mechanics. Yeah. We kill this boy now, I don't have CDs up, yeah? So I know all my armies coming up, but we don't have lust, and I know, yeah, well, at the end of the fight or in the second phase I'm gonna army with lust and we Gucci. Timer's pretty close, as I said. Usually we are way faster than this, but you know, this count got scuffed and bolstering, but still quite fast for the shit that happened, yeah, like, it was okay, yeah? Especially we don't, since we don't have a fucking virgin mage who carries us through the dungeon because he deals like every pull gazillion DPS because nice spec, yeah? There's a safe spot where the healer's staying right now, by the way, where the green marker was before. You are always safe there, yeah? I ran through the Gatling gun because I was like, well, fuck it. Usually you should not do this, but it's 26, you can do it if you do it fast like me. Wasn't as fast as I wanted to be, but you can do it, yeah? You survive this if you are well geared. So the healer staying again on the safe spot, like every time the healer is there, this point where he's currently standing, you don't get hit by the side bombs, yeah? Which the 2 ads are throwing or using the rockets. We don't play this fight, by the way, with fully safe spotting. We never really cared enough to do this threat where you always stay in the safe spot or outside. We just didn't care and always play like this since we play together. Usually it's a better option to play like this, but we really don't care. Like, fuck it. So how we are doing this key is like the tank is calling out the position from the bombs, from the side bomb guys, the rocket guys. And yeah, this was pretty much it. The healer runs out with the other AoE rocket, and you know. You can kick, by the way, the Scorchers, and they have again this red line mechanic where it one-shots you. So you see the red line and the warrior is pretty much intercepting one, staying in the other, so nobody dies. You can kick them, by the way, here, so they don't throw randomly shit on the ground, and you can get hit by this, yeah? So the warrior charged on the other one, as you see, and soaked my one, and had the ability, and worked perfectly. Like, this was really well played from him. So we did really great on this part. By the way, you should always focus one of them, because you can't really kill them both at the same time, in our comp at least. And we have pretty much cleave into priority damage, so we focused one marked and blasted then the other at the end. So you can pretty much see I'm soul repairing here, try to get as much faster might as possible, because I know we're gonna lust instantly when I'm calling it. Yeah? So I get the soul repair haste, I get the army, I get 6 free faster might stacks, and blast the boss, yeah? Because I have to catch up in DPS quite much, because my DPS was really slacking, especially since both of the others are extremely well playing on 2 target fight, and as you know, Unholy at 2 targets is really quite yikes. So, you know, trying to catching up a little bit in DPS at least. And then now you're gonna see later on we're gonna play a bit more on the safe spot. Safe spot is it called because, as I said, you're always safe there, nothing happens to you. Because this, where the green marker is every time fine. Always. It's really good. Then we kill him and we're done. So the overall was pretty okayish. The Shaman were first, I'm second, and the Rogue third, and so on. As you know, I died and we scuffed the pool, so the pool wasn't as big as, you know, as I would like it to be, but you know, sometimes it goes like this, yeah. So this is pretty much it for the Motherlode. Talked quite much in this video about the key. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you like it, just join my Twitch stream. As I said, like, it's again the same time, like most of the time at 20 o'clock EU times, like whatever you wanna call it in your time. Just join me, have a chat, ask anything you want to improve eventually, and see you on the next video.